said.
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator,
I'm not taking them away from it.
Secretary,
You want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data? Is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away.
Obviously,
Everybody can get access to them.
no, they can't walk into a pharmacy the way they could last month and get access.
It
to a
depends on the
vaccine.
it depends on the
It
states.
depends. A year ago,
But they can
it
still
did
get
not
it.
depend.
Everybody can get it.
It has been a
Everybody
barn
can get
burner.
it, Senator.
So look, let's move on. You
Oh,
clearly
my.
are taking away vaccines. I've seen the list for what's coming up next, and that is
Warren's lost her
the
head.
agenda
Others
for
lost
the
their
next
minds.
CDC
It's Robert F. Kennedy
vaccine
Jr.,
panel.
the Secretary of Health and Human
And
Services,
first up
testifying.
is
I'm Tony
ratifying
Katz.
your
Chose
COVID
Tony Katz
actions.
today.
Second
The Melania
is
went with the
hepatitis B is
torpedo
on
here.
the agenda.
Love this
So
cigar, the
should
Maduro from
Americans expect
Oliva
you
or
to take
Oliva
away
Series B.
hepatitis vaccine
I'm assuming this
access
is healthy.
as well, even
Tony
though
Katz
you
today, let the
promised
show
not
begin.
to?
As I said, I'm not taking vaccines away from anybody.
Okay, same answer, right? You're just going to deny that when people can't get access, that you're not taking it away. Then let me ask you, is that the same game you're going to play with
Well,
me?
you want me to recommend every product in the world so that without any clinical trial data?
Through on your promises.
Yeah, my promise was to give.
A month ago, we could get COVID vaccines by just walking.
You can
into a
still get
pharmacy.
COVID vaccines,
You
Senator.
are taking that away.
No, you are
So
still.
let me
You can
ask
still
you
get the
one more
COVID vaccines,
question,
and Medicare
Secretary
will still
Kennedy.
pay for them, and Medicaid will still
Tell the
pay for them.
head of the CDC that if she refused to sign off on your changes to the childhood vaccine schedule, that she had to resign.
No, I told her that she had to resign because I asked her, are you a trustworthy person? And she said no. So if you had an employee who told you they weren't trustworthy, would you ask them to resign, Senator?
So I'm
Elizabeth
sorry,
Warren
this
losing
is
her head.
not
Bernie
a
Sanders next to
problem.
her losing his head. This is happening as we're talking. Tony Katz.
you're saying
Tony
she's
Katz today, the hearing with Secretary of Health and Human
conversation I
Services
have
Robert F.
with
Kennedy
you
Jr., who I believe is winning the day.
Less than a month earlier,
My
you
God,
stood next
this
to
has
her
been
and
nuts. The past couple hours have been
as
certifiable. Tony Katz. Tony
And
Katz
you
today,
had
good to be
full
with you. If
confidence
you don't
in
have
her.
bourbon, my God, what are you
And
waiting
you had
for?
full
Grab
confidence in
something, a
her
bourbon, a milkshake.
credentials.
I don't, milkshakes
And
sound good.
in a month,
And
she
listen,
became a liar.
it's getting
You should
rough.
ask her what changed. And by the way, a month ago, you were voting against her. Oh, because you thought she was either incompetent, ineligible, or unsuited to the task.
I voted
Now I
against her
agree
because
with
I
you.
was afraid she was going to bend the knee to you and Donald Trump. And it looks like she didn't bend the knee, so you fired her. Look, you are putting America's babies'
Oh my
health
God.
at risk, America's seniors' health at risk, all Americans' health at risk, and you should resign.
Senator Sanders.
Good God, they all want him to resign. He ain't going no place. He's winning this
Just
fight
want to pick up on Senator Warren's
on
point.
vaccines
Are
and
you telling us
making America
that the
healthy
former
again, the
head
whole
of
thing.
CDC
He's
went to
winning
you,
the fight.
you
Now,
asked her,
I
are
will
you a
tell you that I am
trustworthy
not
person?
with him
And she said,
on the vaccine
"No,
conversation. I'm
I'm
not
not a
with the Florida
trustworthy
Surgeon
person."
General
He didn't say, "No, I'm
completely
not a trustworthy
on his
person." She
conversation
said,
because
"No."
I'm not anti-vaccine. But certainly the COVID vaccine has made everybody very, very skeptical of everything. Let's take it now to the Secretary and Senator Communist Bernie Sanders.
She wrote that I fired her because she refused to sign on in advance for the ACIP committee. No, that's not accurate.
All right, you're calling her a liar, and I look forward to her coming before the Health Committee, maybe this committee as well. All right, Mr. Secretary, I've got a bunch of questions. Appreciate brevity in answering it. So-called
cough.
beautiful bill threw 15 million Americans off of health care, substantially raised premiums, and is going to have a terrible impact on nursing homes, community health centers, rural hospitals all over America. Very briefly, is that really making America healthy again?
It's going to have it's going to be the biggest infusion of federal dollars into rural health care in American history.
Yeah, you know why? Because you're cutting $150 billion for rural hospitals. You're putting $50 billion back. That's not an infusion. That's a loss of $100 billion. All right, next question.
So he's not interested
President
in answers.
Trump,
He's just interested
who I
in
don't usually agree
his
with,
talking
called
points to
COVID
utilize
vaccines,
for some
quote,
kind of
one of
campaign.
the greatest miracles in the history of modern-day
of course,
medicine
what
that
is
saved
he wants
tens
for
of
Bernie
millions of
wants all the
lives
time.
worldwide.
The communist
Scientific
loves your
community
money.
agrees with Trump. Lancet study found that it prevented almost 20 million deaths during their first year of use. Secretary Kennedy, are President Trump and the medical community right, or do you still believe that the COVID vaccine was, quote, the deadliest vaccine ever made?
No, first of all, I didn't say that. Oh, I said that in terms of affairs reports a while ago. I said today, I think that President Trump should get the Nobel Prize.
So who's right? Is Trump in the medical community right, or are you right?
President Trump did an extraordinary piece of leadership.
Is he right or wrong? Did COVID save millions of lives?
As I said, he got Americans
COVID
back to work.
vaccine.
At that time, that particular vaccine was perfectly matched to the virus that was circulating then. And I have no idea how many lives it saved, but it saved quite a few.
You know, what I find a little bit weird in this discussion, I'm hearing it over and over again this morning, Mr. Chairman,
Is why
got the
23-year-old men are
medical
attracted to you,
community
Bernie?
on one side. You got the AMA representing hundreds of thousands of doctors, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Public Health Association. All of these organizations are telling us that COVID vaccine and vaccines in general are safe and effective. You are casting doubt on that. Who are your who are the organizations that are agreeing with you?
If you want to go down the
Casting
road, Bernie,
aspersions on vaccines.
The primary advisors are Marty McCary, Jay Bhattacharya, Dr. Oz, Vinay Prasad.
So you got a few doctors who agree with you, and I'm giving you the
Not a
names.
few doctors. What you're talking about is there's a big difference, Senator, between established science and the scientific establishment, which has been co-opted by the pharmaceutical
Oh, hold on. So
industry.
you're telling me the
Beautiful.
American people that the American Medical Association, representing hundreds of thousands of people, have been co-opted and that they should not trust their doctors.
And I'm
the
telling
American
you,
Academy of Pediatrics, and by the way, just for the record, every single Republican, I don't mean to be political
Listen
here,
to
Mr.
his
Chairman, has
support of the
received
establishment,
tax money from the pharmaceutical
no matter
industry.
what.
Are they all corrupt as well?
And I'm telling you, the American Heart Association has been co-opted by the food industry.
Everybody but you, Senator. But you know what? When you ran for president, you know, we have a corrupt campaign finance system. Maybe you will agree with me on that. Okay, you were already president. You had a billionaire behind it. You received $300,000 from people, not from the industry, people in it, as I did, from individuals. You corrupt. President Trump got $3 million. Every Republican got corporate PAC money for the pharmaceutical industry. Democrats as well.
let's just stop this for a second and get into what we're talking about here. He wants to scream and yell about something that doesn't matter. It's not even a part of the conversation. The question about vaccines is a legitimate one. Are we a society that believes in vaccines or not? It is clear that there has been a posturing from the political left about Robert Kennedy's position on vaccines. But he just told you that the COVID vaccine put together by Operation Warp Speed for that strain of COVID saved lives. That's from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You heard it. That's not a guy who's anti-vaccine. Are we discussing being opposed to the idea of a vaccine in general, or are we discussing the idea of whether or not we can discuss a vaccine? If you tell me that the medical establishment approves of this, I'm not allowed to question the medical establishment. The scientific establishment told me that the sun revolves around the earth. And then one guy said, aha. But the establishment said, that doesn't mean anything to us. If you tell me there's an establishment of doctors, some medical board that says it's okay to mutilate children and tell boys they can be girls, doesn't make it right. Makes it insane. and tell that board to go, pound sand or something far worse than that. So that's not an argument. What Bernie Sanders is putting forth is not an argument. What Bernie Sanders is trying to put forth is, let's discredit the guy as opposed to discussing what the guy is saying. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is on the political left. I didn't support him for Secretary of Health and Human Services. I still wouldn't. But is there any question on whether or not, when it comes to this whole MAHA thing, he's winning? Make America Healthy Again is winning. Later, you'll hear me on the Sean Spicer show. I was on the show, and he does a thing where he picks winners and losers. And I won't give you the loser. You'll have to watch the show yourself. But my winner was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. because this thing is working. Moms are in. Parents are in. Finally, somebody realizes that my kid is ingesting crap and I can't be with them all day long. And maybe if we can regulate other things, we can do something about this. Now, as for the vaccines, I'm in a very different place. And I'll get into it with what happened with the Florida Surgeon General. They will no longer have vaccine mandates in Florida. Allow me for just a moment. Let me start with a baseline. I believe vaccines work. I believe we have a healthy society in regards to mumps, measles, rubella, smallpox, it's however you want to call it, all the things you want to list. Because we have shown that these things do work and time is on our side. And yes, there have been cases of adverse reactions, but in the main, the total health of the society, we are better off. I absolutely, from the doctors I talked to, purely anecdotal, the COVID vaccine worked, and they believe in the patients they dealt with saved lives. We can disagree about that if you want. The place where we agree wholeheartedly is the idea that Americans should be allowed to discuss these things. And they were kept from doing so by the so-called medical establishment that wanted to vilify you, especially if you were a doctor. Nurses are heroes. Nurses won't take the vaccine. Nurses are villains. That establishment, that low-class, low-rent, fickle establishment. Those are the people you want me to believe? Of course, you're allowed to discuss whether or not vaccines work. Here on the live stream, I am for vaccines. This is from Angry Vulcan. What a name. I am for vaccines as long as third parties can look into its veracity. Okay. Sure. As long as we as grown-ups, as Americans, as adults can have a conversation about these things. And the establishment that Bernie Sanders touts and loves and adores, Bernie Sanders said no. I should say that establishment said no. That establishment said you can't discuss it. They forced social media into not allowing the conversations. Tell me how we were better off. How were we possibly better off? The answer is we weren't. We just weren't. So if we're going to have this conversation, let's have the totality of the conversation. And let's take a look exactly at how aggressive the progressives are against RFK. And remember, they don't hate him because of his vaccine stance. They hate him because he's a Democrat with the last name Kennedy, connected to their idols who sided with Trump and you. More from this hearing coming up. Keep it here. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today.
listen to me, because I've been listening to you. You said that ASIP is an independent panel after you stalked it with your picks. You said that you want evidence-based science, but it seems that what you mean is evidence that supports your view, not the scientific consensus. I mean, you dared to sit there and call my colleague from New Hampshire a liar when she presented you with facts that don't support your view of the world.
That's
It's
Senator
incredible.
Smith.
But let me move on. Just last week, in the days after the tragic shooting at Annunciation Catholic School in my home state of Minnesota, you went on Fox News blaming school shootings on antidepressants. You have no evidence of that because you have no evidence of a connection. And you want to talk
I
about,
didn't, you're just saying something, you're just making stuff up.
you know, this is what you say, right? Secretary Kennedy, when
no,
someone
no.
presents you with information that does not fit
I did not
your
blame that
world
shooting.
view,
I have no idea whether, I have no idea, and I never said that. You're making it up.
I
You're
am not
twisting. Yeah, you are.
Secretary
You are being
Kennedy,
dishonest right
if you
now.
want to talk about mental health and gun
You're
violence
being
in this
dishonest.
country, if you want to talk about mental health and gun violence in this country, we should be talking about that, because that's what the
Let's
parents
talk then,
of
Senator.
Annunciation School
You don't want to talk.
want to
You want
talk
to
about.
harangue, and you want to politically, you want to have partisan politics.
That is
I want to actually solve these
Miss
problems.
Secretary Kennedy.
Honestly, I know I'm supposed to do a radio show, but screw
What
it.
the
This is
Trump
awesome.
administration is doing right now is making it harder for people.
Does anybody
in this
mind? I
country
mean, this
to
is
get
crazy.
access to mental health care. So don't talk to me about solving the mental health care crisis when you are making it harder.
popcorn for
You cut
everybody.
Medicaid, which is the #1 payer for mental health care services in this country. You decimated the agency at Health and Human Services that focuses on mental health and substance abuse. That's what states count on. They're cutting their services to schools as a result of that. Several years ago, in a bipartisan way, Congress came together and passed the Safer Communities Act, which made important investments in mental health care and did some important, though small things, to reduce access to guns. What do? You propose cutting that funding. This is what we're talking about in your leadership
still going
in the
on.
Department of Health and Human Services. If you want
This hearing
radical
with,
transparency,
Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and there's Senator Tina Smith of Minnesota saying, you went on to Fox News and said the shooting at Annunciation school was about antidepressants. And RFK Jr. is like, you're a liar. You just made that up. I didn't say that. You're a liar. You're just manipulating this, that, and the other. You're disgusting. It is something else. The blowing up of drug boats will continue until morale improves. So says the Secretary of State. That is Marco Rubio. Good. This is excellent. This drug boat that comes from Venezuela, and I do support the moves being made on Venezuela. That you have Nicolas Maduro, who took over for the thug Hugo Chavez, who is sending the most violent criminals possible to the country, to the United States. You're trying to disrupt the United States. You are leading to the deaths of children in the United States. We should treat you like a narco-terrorist, which is exactly what Marco Rubio said. We should treat you like somebody who is a member of any cartel, and we should be absolutely unafraid to do so. And if that means going after you criminally or going after you militarily, so be it. You lead this rogue nation that you've turned into a rogue nation. You're attacking the United States. I mean, I wouldn't actually mind the declaration of war in the conversation. That's really where I think Trump wants to go. But certainly you could say if you're bringing drugs to the United States, you're trying to kill American citizens. We don't allow you to do that. Boom, we just blow the whole thing up. What, 11 Venezuelans died on the boat? Oh, well, what's for lunch? When you tell me that 11 Tren de Aragua gang members blew up on a boat, you know what I say to you? I could go for some brisket. If you could just order me some brisket and a little. I like coleslaw with the brisket. I like the flavors mixed together, the cool and the hot and the sweet and Yeah. No, a pound. Look at me. What am I going to have, a half pound? What am I, a child? Not going to. No, make it 2 pounds. I need a little something for later. That's what I'm going to say. Going to feel bad for these people? Absolutely not. Marco Rubio saying the point is the president of the United States is going to wage war on narco-terrorist organizations. This one was operating in international waters headed towards the United States to flood our country with poison. And under President Trump, those days are over. Yes, and good. This is correct. This is accurate. It is not about getting over aggressive. It's not about getting over their skis at all. The Trump administration is not doing anything wrong here at all in any way. As a matter of fact, I don't know how this isn't a position that doesn't get cheers. This is the right position to take. We are under attack when it comes to fentanyl, when it comes to these other drugs. And therefore, we need to do something about it. This is the right maneuver from beginning to end. And just like we see these cities just not be willing to say, we have a drug problem. We have a gang problem. We have a violence problem. We need help fixing this. Why don't they just ask the Trump administration for help and make these cities better? They want to be on the side of everything's fine, Trump bad. That's the only side they want to be on. They want to be on the side of everything's fine, Trump bad. The only argument they have is Trump bad. It clouds. Hate rots the brain. It makes one foolish. Stop the drugs before they get into the country. Stop them where they are. Somebody asked me, what about going into Mexico? So I have made the argument before that if we really believe if we don't think we can stop the drug trade, the attack, the cartels as we're doing it, I think we should move 3 miles into Mexico, whether Mexico likes it or not, create a DMZ, and let's bring back the landmines. Now you say to me, Tony, that is obscene. That is insane. What the heck are you talking about? I will also accept a moat. I forget the comic who said it should be a river of gas. And every now and again, we just light it on fire. You best not be crossing. And the left will say to me, you're despicable and disgusting, and look how violent. I believe that we are a nation that should be protected from those who want to do us harm. And cartels want to do us harm. And I, whether you like it or not, or offended by it or not, or clutch your pearls, I'm offering those people a solution. What's their solution? Take it, let your kids die from fentanyl, blow up the boats. Tell the cartels they can go sell in China. Best of luck. This is Tony Katz today. He's still going.
So the calculus is different and it's complicated.
I'm sorry.
And, if you just want to turn everything into a soundbite, it makes it, you can't have a grown-up conversation. But there were more reports to VAERS, which is the only surveillance system that we have, of injuries and deaths from that vaccine that all vaccines put together in history. So
honestly, I wasn't going to share this much from this. It is
we acknowledge that there was
unbelievable what's going on in this
quantify
area.
either one because of the data chaos at CDC, and that's all I'm saying. And they think I'm being evasive because I won't make a kind of a statement that's almost religious in nature. Did it save 1 million lives? Well, there's no data to support that. There may be data, there's no study, that there's modeling studies, there's faulty data. I'm not going to sign on to something if I can't do it to a scientific certainty. It doesn't mean that I'm, anti-vax. It just means I'm pro-science.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you. Senator Lujan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Kennedy, Dr. Daskalakis, who recently
That's
resigned
right.
as director of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, his resignation letter stated he and his team were never allowed to brief you. I'm curious who you're listening to, since it's clear you're not listening to qualified experts like Dr. Daskalakis. Can you give the committee the
Was
name
this
of
the
the person?
guy who
I don't consider
supports
it
women's
Dr.
pregnancy?
Daskalakis.
Mr. Secretary, the question that I have for you is, can you give the committee a name of who you're getting briefed by?
I'm getting briefed by all the time by CDC.
Just a name.
Well, Dr. William Thompson's one name.
Thank you very much, sir.
But I can
Thank
get you a whole list
that's
of
the
other,
question,
it's on my
Mr.
schedule.
Secretary, that's not a hard question. You know a lot of answers.
I'm not being
Okay,
evasive.
then you answered it. Let's go on. Now, you said that you're soon going to release a study claiming to reveal the cause of autism, timed unsurprisingly with the upcoming ACIP meeting to justify taking vaccines from Americans. Now, as you know, autism affects millions of children, so I guess you'd have the nation's top medical experts working on this. Mr. Kennedy, you hired a man named David Geyer to conduct this study. Is that correct?
No,
Is Mr. David Geyer working for HHS?
he's a contractor, but he's not conducting a study.
Thanks,
He's a
WJ.
contractor?
Glad you're
He's a
here.
Do you
contractor.
know who works for you, Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah,
Do you know that Mr. Geyer is listed as a HHS on the employee directory as a senior data analyst, not a contractor?
he's a contractor. He's not an SGE.
So is your website wrong?
He's not an SGE. I don't know.
I'm going to pull up the website for you.
He's
What
a
is this?
contractor.
If the website says he is a senior data analyst, will you at least admit to the committee
Well, I
that
don't
you
know
were
if a
wrong?
contractor can be classified as a senior data analysis
sir.
or not.
Is Mr. Geyer a doctor?
No,
Did you know he never went to medical school?
he's not practicing medicine.
Did you know that he got caught in Maryland and was charged for practicing medicine without a medical license?
He was charged by a medical board, he sued the medical board, and the medical board was found to have acted in actual malice and was fined $2.6 million by a judge in Maryland for doing that.
So you choose to know a lot when you want to know a lot. It's incredible, Mr. Kennedy.
Senator,
It's
you're
incredible,
ridiculous.
sir. So here's the question I have. You brought him in to do this study. I think there's no question
I
about it.
told you he's not doing a study.
Is he participating in the study?
No, what
Is he
he's
doing
doing,
any analysis in regards to this study?
no, what he's doing is getting access to the Vaccine Safety Data Link, which is the biggest repository for vaccine information that your friend would not give us for 7 months. For
Mr.
7 months,
Secretary, let me ask you this question, just because you know the answer. What is Mr. Geyer doing?
he is the only one, because Congress ordered CDC to open up the VSD to him in 2002. He's the only outsider who's ever seen it. So
is he
because
Secretary, I
CDC will not
appreciate
give
that.
us, they have
Mr.
disadvantage.
Secretary, is he participating in this then?
No, he is.
But you just said he's the only dude that knows what's going on here.
Do you want me to explain it to you, Senator, or do
No,
you
because
just
you're
want to
confusing me.
show?
Sir,
Do you
I'll-
just
I'll
want to
submit it.
showboat?
I'll submit
You
this.
just want to showboat for your ads, or do you want to hear a real answer to your question?
Mr.
sorry, he's right.
Secretary, you choose to know answers to questions with some colleagues. And with others
I'm
you
willing to
tend not
give you the
know.
answer. I'm
Maybe
willing to
someone-
give you the
Mr.
answer.
Secretary, someone should have asked you, maybe President Trump should have asked you, are you a trustworthy person? And we should have waited for an answer then. Let's
I
move
don't
on.
even know what you're talking about.
Mr.
You're
Secretary-
talking gibberish.
Mr. Secretary, let me speak
This is Senator
slowly
John
and clearly so that you can
trying
understand
to
me.
take on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Then give me,
It's not going great.
Can you understand me?
yes,
Appreciate that. Mr. Secretary,
It's-
yes or no, did you hire Mr. Geyer
He's
to
looking,
do this
he's
study?
looking like a fool, is the senator.
Mr. Chairman,
RFK looks good in all of this. These people look like children. And it's because these people are children. Tony Katz today, good to be with you. I swear this wasn't my plan for the show. I wasn't gonna get into this. I didn't even realize he was testifying. But he's testifying on the healthcare agenda of President Trump. And the entire argument the left wants to make is you're not qualified and you don't have qualified people. as if only the people in the establishment are qualified people. Now, I have said many times, I didn't support RFK then. I wouldn't call for his nomination now. But he's winning this. He's winning this conversation with America. He's winning this argument with the left that isn't even engaged in a rational argument. Rather, what they're engaged in solely and exclusively, nothing else. What they are engaged in is anything Trump says, we are opposed to. I've got this troll on the live stream. If you go to YouTube, search for Tony Katz, you can see the live stream. How are you supporting Dem socialists now? It's one of these guys who believes he's all about the he's above it all. I can recognize when someone's doing well. I can recognize when a conversation being had about vaccines is valuable. More conversation is better. A very conservative principle. I can recognize when someone is getting the support of the American people regarding the health of children. Yeah, I'm capable. Some people aren't. We call them trolls of mine. That's all there is to it. But let me. Oh, they're still screaming.
Because they're explaining the secretary's tenure here. Look, 2 young ladies in Las Cruces, New Mexico, at a town hall.
I don't need to hear about the 2 young ladies at the Texas town hall. Let me share with you some of the things that took place at this. I mean, it got rough and tumble right here. This was with Senator Cantwell. Oh my, oh goodness gracious, Maria Cantwell, it got super ugly.
Answered it.
No, you're saying that there are problems with what was interpreted. You could say yes. You should say
I
yes.
said the
yes.
president also deserves a Nobel Prize, but our mRNA vaccines that we're working on, the ones that we canceled, which are for upper respiratory infections alone, are those...
You canceled $500 million of research because the mRNA technology is about continuing the research to be ready for the next flu, influenza, the next pandemic, and you have to do the research.
I'm happy to have a detailed discussion with you about it. You're so wrong on your facts.
You're interrupting me. And, sir, you're a charlatan. That's what you are. You're the ones who conflate chronic disease with the need for vaccines. The history on vaccines is very clear. This is the 20th century. That's how many people had vaccines and had illnesses. This is the 21st century. This is the decrease, 99% down to 100%. This is what was delivered with vaccines. And you don't want to support that. You don't want to support that evidence. So yes, the governors of the West, Washington, Oregon, and California, will take up the efficacy of science. Yes, the University of Washington will deliver the science that America will depend on, because you don't want to depend on it. And his own Surgeon General.
Calling people charlatan is pretty messed up. I mean, it's pretty messed up to say that to the secretary. Is that what's happening? Present your information, no problem. And again, I'm a guy who favors vaccines, but charlatan for having honest conversations of whether or not we're engaging the data properly. If I take a look at the data, you tell me from big cities, in left-leaning cities, crime's down. But in some cities, you didn't submit all the information. So how do we know to trust that number? There's a problem there. And an open conversation helps.
Of the Trump administration said over 2 million lives were saved because of the mRNA technology, and you don't want to continue that. You don't want to continue that technology. So what country is going to now take up that technology lead? What country is going to do that? Leaving us more vulnerable to some other country, keeping the advantage on having the best technology. So I'm telling you, I represent a state that's about technology. I have 2 other quick questions.
We don't need to hear your other questions. You could agree with her. You could agree with her that we should be people very focused on mRNA technology. But this would be about a debate. What they are saying is there's only one way to think. Even if I agree, it is impossible that these people could say, well, here's what you're saying, here's what we're saying. This is Senator Barrasso, Republican, Wyoming.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, thanks for being with us today. I believe one of President Trump's greatest achievements was his bold and successful actions on COVID. When faced with a global pandemic, he didn't back down. He was determined to find a cure, and through Operation Warp Speed, a vaccine was developed that distributed quickly, safely, effectively, and I believe it saved many, many lives. I think it's a model of American ingenuity and public-private partnership. But this wasn't the first time an American president acted boldly to address disease and vaccines. There's a great book that's out. It's a prize-winning book called The Fate of the Day by Rick Atkinson, and he talks about the courageous efforts by George Washington. During the Revolutionary War, George Washington reversed his opposition to the smallpox vaccine, and he ordered that all the soldiers be vaccinated. It was among the most consequential decisions Washington would ever make. By protecting his troops from smallpox, Washington preserved the Continental Army, which allowed our nation to continue to fight for our independence. And like President Trump, I believe President Washington acted decisively to protect Americans' lives at a time of great national peril. So over the last 50 years, vaccines are estimated to have saved 154 million lives worldwide. I support vaccines. I'm a doctor. Vaccines work. Secretary Kennedy, in your confirmation hearings, you promised to uphold the highest standards for vaccines. Since then, I've grown deeply concerned. The public has seen measles outbreaks, leadership of the National Institute of Health questioning the use of mRNA vaccines, the recently confirmed director of Centers for Disease Control and Prevention fired. Americans don't know who to rely on. Recent polls said 89% of voters, 81% of Trump voters agree vaccine recommendations should come from trained physicians, scientists, public health experts. So, they believe, Senator Marshall, Senator Cassidy, they believe me when it comes to vaccines. If we're going to make America healthy again, we can't allow public health to be undermined.
That's how you have a conversation. That's a Republican saying, hey, I think this is happening. I think this is valuable. I think we're doing this. Let us discuss it. No one's calling anybody a charlatan, screaming, yelling the rest. Just people having a conversation. What's best? How do we make this work? And I am one of those people who wholeheartedly agrees. Wholeheartedly agrees. We were better off with the COVID vaccine than without. We were not better off with not being able to have a conversation about the COVID vaccine. That's where the difference is. Now, I do have a bunch more to get to, but man, you want to talk about how this thing went? This was Senator Kennedy. There's so much that took place in the last couple hours. Back and forth with Senator Ron Wyden. Oh my.
About anything you've done or plans to change it. And my last comment is, I hope that you will tell the American people how many preventable child deaths are an acceptable sacrifice for enacting an agenda that I think is fundamentally cruel and defies common sense. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do I got a reply? Or Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end.
That's just brutal. It's a solid response from the secretary. It's going to continue. I have a lot to get to, including whether or not the National Guard's going into Chicago and whether or not it should. I mean, Illinois is very different than Washington, D.C. Oh, and they paid Barry Weiss $200 million. The story is just absolutely spectacular and hope for us all. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. if you're going to leave me boring comments, I mean, you just get,
I'll let Senator Wyden respond
all there.
briefly.
that's all there is. Can't blame me. Can't blame me for blocking somebody who's just boring. That's all there. That's all there's to it. And I usually don't. I mean, I do mute people. I'm like, all right, I don't need to hear from you anymore. You've got nothing to offer. Nothing to offer. But the blocking I don't usually like to do. Right? But sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes the comments are very they're very weird. What people decide to go with and how they decide to go with it and how they decide to engage, it's all super awkward and unnecessary. Truly unnecessary. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't. Very, very weird stuff. But they don't stop. They do not stop. So, what are we supposed to do? What else do I have? What else is going on? Have we even checked breaking news? It's about the time every day that I know things I want to go over, and sometimes things like this just jump into play. And then I'm so into the things that I've already got on the schedule. I'm like, sometimes I forget that there are other things happening. But I tell you, this stuff with RFK, I mean, this is center stage in the political world right now. It is crazy what's going on. Nutty. Hold on, this just in. Domino's has pumpkin pizza. No, it doesn't. You made that up. You lie. You lie. And also, now I tell jokes about your mom. This is links or it didn't happen. Thank you. Is Senator Young going right now? Step away for just one moment. Just one. Yeah, yes. Oh, I got it. He's my senator.
Roughly 1% of global GDP. This we know has had impacts on participation in the workforce, therefore our own GDP. So it's serious on a number of fronts. It's my hope we can come up with some therapeutics for this condition. One of the real barriers to that is seeing that we are able to launch more clinical trials. I want to get your update on how the clinical trials are going, what plans you might have in the works to increase the number of clinical trials as it pertains to long
Senator
COVID.
Todd Young of Indiana. Now ask
Senator,
questions to
there was
Kennedy.
a project funded, a long COVID project at NIH. There was a huge amount of money spent on it. It yielded nothing.
I agree with that.
Right. And I think you know that we are doing now a different approach. We're launching a long COVID consortium. We're bringing together the best doctors in the country who have developed reputations for being able to treat long COVID. And one of them is a doctor that actually...
Dr. Bruce Patterson.
Bruce
Yes.
Patterson, and then Dr. Jordan Vaughn, also from Florida.
Now, you can say anything you want about COVID. You want. You can say that it did not kill the people in the measures that we engage levels of fear on. We can discuss all that, and I'll agree with you on a great number of things. I'm there. Early on in COVID, right? So I was doing, first of all, Tony Katz today. I was doing the morning show and doing this, and after about a month and maybe two, I'll say 2 months, I stopped reporting the numbers because I said the numbers aren't accurate. We're talking about people who died from COVID as if they died from COVID, and we're not discussing comorbidities. If somebody had hypertension, if somebody was X number of pounds overweight, if somebody had diabetes, if somebody had this, that, and the other, and then they got COVID and they died, are we really saying it was COVID that killed them? I'm sorry. I'm not buying into that. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to say that that's factual. How many people died of actual COVID versus how many people died of COVID in connection to all these other things that were killing them? And I think once you go through that data, you'll find that the number of people who actually died from COVID, very, very small in relation. But something that is true, and to deny it is criminal, is long COVID. There are people who got this thing, and they are still dealing with. I have friends who still don't have their sense of smell back. I have friends who they're feeling fine, they're feeling terrible, they're feeling fine, they're feeling terrible, and they're like, this did not happen before COVID. I think this is a place of agreement, or at least it should be. Then you've got this, and I'm going to dig into more of this. You've got a group of judges, anonymous federal judges. Sorry, that's insane. Criticizing the Supreme Court for overturning lower court rulings and siding with the Trump administration with little to no explanation. So NBC News puts this story out that they spoke with 12 federal judges who pointed to a trend of lower court decisions being overturned by emergency rulings from the high court. And 10 of the 12 argued that the Supreme Court should offer more explanation, saying it's inexcusable, they don't have our backs. They're not supposed to have your back. They're supposed to have the back of the Constitution. What do you mean your back? By the way, any judge who says you have to have, to another judge, you have to have my back, that's a judge who has to be off the bench. We live sometimes in the truly upside down, the nutty, the crazed. My job, if I'm a judge, which by the way, I would look great in a robe. And if I was a judge, totally, no question, powdered wig. I know, who would ever mess with this hair? But still, my job is not to have your back. My job is to interpret the Constitution to the case in front of me, to the very best of my ability. The Supreme Court shouldn't overturn? Tell that to Plessy versus Ferguson or Dred Scott. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe you'll have to read a book to figure that one out. I'm Tony Katz. Right, I'm not crazy, am I? These people are certifiable. They don't have our backs. I don't know. I just found this. Like I was saying, hey, what's breaking news? What am I missing out there? I'm going to spend so much time on this. This is certifiable in its insanity. My God. All right. So the radio show is in commercial break, so we'll be in commercial break. We'll be back soon enough. I appreciate you guys being here. Hang loose. Smoke them if you got them. Seriously, you should do that. We'll be back in a few minutes. Take it easy. Be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. It's the Melania Maduro. This is I guess this is a torpedo. It's a box press. Soft box. Maybe just, no, it's not a box press. But it is lovely. Maybe it is a box press. I'm a fan. It's a good cigar for the show. Missouri is doing redistricting, so we will get into that. We are going to talk about Chicago. Chicago is different than D.C., boo-boo. Just so we all understand each other. And then, really, it's about a level of insanity. There's such an easy way out from the madness. And these people don't want out for the madness. They just want to be crazed. And then the TERFs, the trans exclusionary radical feminists, meaning if you are a feminist but you don't accept trans women, well, then you need to be attacked, which is usually, them wanting to attack J.K. Rowling. I have got an interesting bit on that story as well. I do not know who Baby Beginner is on Twitter, but man, Baby Beginner is doing some work right there. So I've got that story as well. And as for the people in Indiana who are just flat out lying about my positions, one of them is like heads up a Democratic county Democratic Party, just flat out lying about things I'm saying. I'm fully aware that I can go after them for defamation. Who knows? And yes, if indeed you have Domino's doing a pumpkin spice pizza, then I will absolutely apologize for referring to you as a liar. But when I hear pumpkin spice pizza, I just assume everybody's lying. Now, pumpkin and gnocchi, that I'll eat. Oh, Daddy likes a little bit of pumpkin and gnocchi. That's spelled with a GN right there. Anyway, the show's about to begin. Let's go. So is President Trump really going to go into Chicago? If you listen to J.D. Vance saying that's not the plan just yet. If you listen to the governor of Illinois, the plan is if you assist with cleaning up this city, you're the problem.
Day they're actually going to be going into action, what day they'll be completed assembling. We have an idea, and I talked about that yesterday. It looks like they're going to be fully assembled on Friday. It doesn't mean they're going to be in action on Friday, although that could happen. I also don't want to tell you that I know absolutely because they haven't confirmed any of that to us. But what we're hearing is that they'll be assembled, ready to go on Friday, and that they would begin actions on Saturday over the weekend. So that's all we know. And what we're doing is, of course, making sure that the CPD and local law enforcement are aware of what they're doing, so they can, one, make sure they're not standing anywhere near those actions or assisting in those actions, but also being ready for protests that might occur.
Why are you taking it in this direction? Why can't you simply accept the help? Why can't you invite the help and then help be the one who guides how the help comes? If you want to argue that the president, Donald Trump, you've seen pictures politically, just wants the win. Look, I made everything safer. Aren't you better off being able to claim a win yourself? As a matter of just the pure politics, don't tell me you're a Republican or a Democrat, a conservative or a liberal. Step back from the entirety of the conversation going on around the country and look at it objectively. What are you winning through the negativity? What are you winning from this pseudo-intellectual opposition position? What are you winning by saying, hey, people of Chicago, don't try and be safe, but be sure you're keeping an eye on the people who want to make you safe?
And then very importantly, we've asked for the public to be ready with your iPhone and any way that you can to record what's going on in their neighborhoods by ICE, because we think that's the best way to demonstrate what ICE is doing if they're doing something wrong, or to keep them honest and doing the right thing because they know they're being watched.
All of this? This is the way you want to do it? All of this? Hey, Chicago, we're going to get you prepared to deal with Trump because he's doing this. And hey, Chicago, we're going to get you prepared. And you keep an eye on ICE so we know when they're doing something wrong. As a matter of politics, isn't that putting you clearly on the side of criminality? The answer is yes. How do they not see this? Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. So good to be with you. Find everything I do over at TonyKatz.com. 833-468-8669. 833 got Tony. That's how you get to be a part of the show. Call in. Feel free. I never, ever mind. I don't give out the phone number enough. I hear that a lot, but it's there. It exists. I pay for it. So feel free to use it. This part is it boggles the mind. And this came up with some other subjects regarding why is it that the Trump White House keeps wanting to call the stuff about Epstein a hoax? Wouldn't you be better off managing the whole situation, managing the subject, getting the information that you can get out to people? Wouldn't you be better off? Of course you'd be better off. Why are you going down this road of it's a hoax? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. None. Zero. Less than zero. What the Trump administration has done on Epstein is wrong. They have mismanaged this from beginning to end. When President Trump calls it a hoax, his argument is that the Democrats are trying to make an insinuation, and that is not true. And some people are arguing, well, you see, this is just 4D chess from President Trump. They're going to push for this information, push for the information. Then he's going to let it all out, and it's going to show all these Democrats who were involved with Jeffrey Epstein. We know they were involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Democrats were and Republicans were. And just because you knew the guy doesn't mean you were involved in having sex with children. It doesn't mean you were abusing children. I've been making this argument for months now. I know trolls can't handle that. They put on the live stream, it's about time you call out MAGA. It's not my fault you don't listen. It's not my fault you haven't been here, engaged in these conversations. Pam Bondi handled it all wrong. She screwed it all up. This whole thing about the binders and everything, nonsense. She screwed it up. Trump gave the story life by saying, why are you paying attention to it? And then he brought it up again the other day. Stop. Give out the information you can. What are you doing? What in the world are these governors and these mayors of these blue cities and these blue states doing? This is about cleaning up your city. Why not say yes? Why not try and engage the conditions to which it happens? Don't you think that you can utilize this to re-election? Look at that. He reached across. Oh, Trump's not easy to deal with, but man, he was really responsible for helping cleaning up this city, right? You can spin it a million different ways. Trump wants to win for his thing. The two rules of Trumpism still stand. The first rule of Trumpism is Trump wins. The second rule of Trumpism is that a deal can always be made as long as it adheres to the first rule of Trumpism. That's it. A deal can always be made. Yes, Trump, you win. Really appreciate the resources. And we really directed them in this fashion because that was best for our city and our state. And we're glad that finally we're seeing some people serious about cleaning this place up like we are. We've always needed these resources. And now, because we told the president, here's how it has to happen, look what we've gotten done. That's how you do it. Why are you going the other way? Why are you saying to your citizens, hey, don't forget to record those ICE agents, as if the ICE agents are the issue? It's certifiable. So Vance says we're not sure when we're going in. Tom Homan, the border czar, says, damn straight we're going into Chicago.
Are you going to increase the volume of ICE agents in Chicago and these other cities?
It's damn straight. We're going to flood the zone. So, look, we don't have that problem in Florida, where Governor DeSantis is requiring every sheriff and chief to work with us. We don't have that problem in Texas. We have the problem in sanctuary cities. So where we're going to put majority of our resources in sanctuary cities, because we know we have a problem. We know public safety threat illegal aliens are released from the jails every single day, which makes it dangerous for the community, makes it dangerous for the officers, makes it dangerous for the alien, because anything can happen on a street arrest. You would think they let us in the jail to arrest that public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail where we know weapons aren't involved. But yeah, we're sending a bunch of resources to sanctuary cities. And look, we're hiring 10,000 more officers. Where are most of them going? Sanctuary cities, because that's where the problem is. We're going to send our firefighters to the biggest fires, and those fires are in the sanctuary cities.
I don't disagree with anything the man said there. I do not disagree at all with anything Tom Homan said regarding sanctuary cities. And if you are a sanctuary city, I do not believe that we should treat you the same. So the argument is, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but go with me, guys. The argument is, of course, first of all, that Illinois is not DC. And what the president can do regarding a state is different than what the president can do regarding the District of Columbia, which exists via an act of Congress. The states have rights. Federalism is real. Whether or not you can actually federalize the National Guard, whether or not you can do these things, there could be an argument, as there is, about the idea of declaring an emergency, and no, the president can't declare an emergency. There's some judge, I thought I had the story on the show sheet, which you can find at TonyKatz.com. Some judge who said, well, no, it's unconstitutional what President Trump is doing, because I've determined that there is no emergency because of this, and this. Who in the bloody world selected a judge to make this call? I didn't, and you didn't. Judges don't make this call. That's not what they do. The president of the United States, elected by the people, can make the call because that's why the people elected him. Now, if you want to tell me this has to be an act of Congress, well, then we're going to have a debate. But it seems to me if we're talking about emergencies, we would have the executive branch and the executive, the chief executive, the guy who is in charge of, if you will, executing the laws of the country, making that determination, and as commander-in-chief, making sure that the country is safe from the emergency. That would make sense. That's a rational concept. Not some judge. Not some judge. So I think it is for Trump to decide that there is indeed an emergency. But when it comes to sanctuary cities, why can't the argument be, and I'll let the lawyers tell me how the law would play in this. Why can't the argument be that these cities are violating or going against the executive branch, where clearly, again, federalism, the chief executive determines immigration policy, and they are working against the immigration policies of the United States, and therefore, in order to enforce the policies, we send in everybody because the state is trying to usurp the power of the federal government. And I was guaranteed a republic form of government. And that's not what I'm getting from Illinois. It's not what I'm getting from California. So therefore, they have to be stopped. They have to be stopped. And they may have to be stopped by force. Tell me why that can't be an argument. And if that is an argument, how is it said cleaner than the way I just engaged it, right? I engaged a poor man's version of it, a layman's version of it. It's you and me on a bar stool saying, wait a second. The sanctuary city is in clear violation. Why can't we declare an emergency because of their clear violation to clean these things up? I think that is a fine, legitimate, and worthy question. Meanwhile, the hearing with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is over, and these Democrats have decided that he needs to resign. They're going to tell us who's unqualified and unfit. Yet somehow it never comes to a conversation like that regarding Anthony Fauci. Talk about a guy who had to quit. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Today. Hold on a second, guys. I just need to call somebody a liar. Yes, we have people now saying, oh, I never said that about you. You clearly didn't read the... You guys don't need to know that. What you need to know is, look at that. Flederman Von Riest. The watches are incredible. And they're selling thanks to you. I love it. Thrilled to be their brand ambassador. Look at that. Assembled right here in Indiana. You want to go to Von Riest, R-I-E-S-T-E, vonriest.com. Use promo code CATS. Get your discounts. Flederman Von Riest. These are incredible, incredible timepieces. You'll pass throughout the generations. Go to Von Riest, right there. vonriest.com. Use promo code CATS and get your discount. Back to the show.
Mr. Kennedy never should have received so much as a hearing in the United States Senate. So obviously unqualified and unfit for this office, is he? He never should have been confirmed by the United States Senate, and he needs to resign.
What about Javier Becerra? What experience did Javier Becerra have before he became the Secretary of Health and Human Services? Completely unfit, completely unqualified, knew absolutely nothing about healthcare. Zero about vaccines or the rest. Nothing. He's a lawyer. California Justice Department, California State Assembly, Congressman, what did he know? Rest my case. I won't be lectured to by the left on RFK. I have my own take on RFK, and I have given it. But I'll say it again, this hearing that took place today, which was a whole bunch of screaming and yelling and hooping and hollering and all that jazz. One of the things that you're witnessing is the political left do anything they can to support the existence of the conditions that already exist. We've talked about this with agencies and with all these different things we see out of government. Does the agency or the department, does it exist for the benefit of the citizenry, or does it exist to prove its existence? And every time you hear someone say, well, we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't dismantle this, we can't get rid of that, you can't get rid of USAID, what the left is saying is the establishment, the agency, the department exists for the sake of the department existing, because that department either gives cover to something we want to do, it allows funding for something where we're making cash, it allows us a fail-safe in case we lose this job or somebody has to leave and we can still get them another job. That's it. They exist as slush funds for our ideological wants. That's valueless. It has to exist to serve the citizenry. If you think that everything regarding HHS has been top-notch during the Biden administration, well, you're an unserious person. We should have serious talks about these things. And the only serious conversations came from Barrasso of Wyoming and Young of Indiana. Now, maybe there were some others and I just didn't hear them. But didn't come from the left. The yelling and the screaming and this statement from Senator John Ossoff. John Ossoff makes Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey look manly. I mean, you've got this from this was the hearing today with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Elizabeth Warren, senator from Massachusetts, via whatever tribe she's from.
You promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
No, I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said...
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying?
That's... By the way, the face that Elizabeth Warren is making right now, if somebody wants to I don't know if that's are we still memeing? Like, does that still happen? Because if that's not a meme by the end of the day, that just angry, twisted. She took $885,000 from $855 from Big Pharma. Interesting. None of that's helpful. None of that moves the needle at all in any way. Just doesn't do anything. All it's going to do is push people to saying, man, RFK must be over the target. That's it. That's all it's going to do. Wow, he must be really getting somewhere. You don't have to be a screamer. You don't have to be a yeller. You engage, you present, be smarter than the other guy, be more rational. You can get places. Now, don't get me wrong, they've clearly gotten places from screaming and yelling, so it must work. Just not for any of us. RFK leaves that hearing being in a better position than when he got there. That's what Democrats did. This is Tony Katz today. It's what they did. Not even a question. All right, so I've got the turf thing. Whoa. Look at us. News is happening fast right there. Some people are reporting that Trump is going to move, is he going to move National Guard into Chicago? I'm not seeing it. Some people I trust are saying it, but I am not seeing it as of yet. I need a couple sources before I go forward with something. So we will get into that. I want to get into this story about J.K. Rowling and about these people who are all trans all the time, and this Graham Linehan story. Really interesting. I've got all of it. I think I've got it right. Let's see. All right, that's there. So we've got this. We've got this. Okay, I'm good. Got it all, boo-boo. Got it all. All right, hold on a second. Angela just opened her second diet beer. That might be the saddest thing I ever heard. No, that's not alcoholic. She said diet. So wouldn't that be like a light beer? That's my question. Diet beer. Ah, yeah. She's having a Michelob Ultra. So is it even beer? It's Mick Ultra. It's golf course beer. That's actually not a bad name for it. Hold on a second. Let me send this out. Mick Ultra. Tony fell at my event, and then now he's back up and healthy. I just want you to know, thank you for not making an insurance claim. Also, I would not have been responsible. He doesn't look like much, you might say. What he looks like is inconsequential. His name is Graham Linehan, Linehan. Here's the story. Tony Katz today. Guys, good to be with you. Good to be here. Let's walk through the story. Graham Linehan was arrested under a law called the Public Order Act. Officers involved in the arrest had reasonable grounds to believe an offense had been committed. Why was he arrested? He was arrested for tweets that he put out, so posts he put out on social media, and then while he was in the U.S., he arrives at Heathrow. He's Irish. He arrives at Heathrow. He's detained by 5 armed officers. In his Substack, he said that his arrest was related to these posts on X from April. The first post said, if a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act. Make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the in the lowers. He didn't say lowers. He said something else that I'm not sure I could say on radio, and I will protect my affiliates. Right? That was one of the posts. Somehow that's a crime in the UK. He wasn't as I understand it, he wasn't in the UK when that took place. The chat room is now coming out with different terms for the lower areas. Yeah, good on you. Good. You go to YouTube and go to Tony Katz, youtube.com/Tony Katz, and you can see it for yourself. It's not a crime. It's not a crime to do this. Except we see things in the view of America. Believers in free speech, including speech that might be considered offensive. We see things differently. The Brits don't believe in free speech. Europeans don't believe in free speech. That post got this dude arrested. This brings us to somebody on Twitter by the name of Baby Beginner. Jennifer is their name. That's what she says. And what Jennifer noted was that J.K. Rowling writes in defense of women and gets these messages sent to her. Graham Linehan stands up for her and other women, and he has 5 officers come to the airport to arrest him. What are the posts? J.K. Rowling, I'll kill you. Here's another one, I'll kill you. I'll kill J.K. Rowling myself. Gotta hate J.K. Rowling. Please kill her for my 18th birthday. Hear me out. Kill J.K. Rowling unironically. This goes on for pages, 12 to a page. This goes on and on and on. Kill yourself, fix your heart, or die. Die, and they call her a kind of witch. This goes on and on and on. And so what Jennifer put here, Baby Beginner on Twitter X, I don't know her, but I like it, is check out how they view things. Look what you could say about British citizen J.K. Rowling if you're in Britain or elsewhere, this guy can't say one thing about trans. By the way, men who think they're women are mentally ill, need help, should not be allowed in women's spaces. We should protect women no matter what. Not apologizing for that. Does this mean I can't step foot in the UK now? Am I now not able to visit London? I'm an American citizen with all the free speech capabilities in the world. If I go to London, do I get arrested? Now I got to ask. You know what I think I got to do? I think I got to go to London. I think I have to go just to see if I get arrested. What do you think a British jail is like? I don't know. I'm assuming the food is terrible. Like, that's the only thing so far that I know for sure. In addition to these things that I just shared with you, remember this guy Graham, who has a career. He's created sitcoms. He's a comic. One sitcom called Father Ted and one called The It Crowd. He got arrested for this statement. So now this woman, Jennifer, baby beginner, starts posting all of the violent people in the trans movement. Here's a woman with a t-shirt that reads, "I punch TERFs." TERF is trans exclusionary radical feminist. So you support women, but you don't support men who claim they're women. So you're trans exclusionary. I punch TERFs. Here's another one with a man wearing a wig, wearing a rainbow scarf and a Speedo. "The things I do for you. I have to look at this so I can share the story with you. Don't ever question whether or not I love you." All right? You take your time and listen to the show. I appreciate it. I am willing to sacrifice my eyeballs for you. That's how much I love you and appreciate you. So this dude is saying, "Pride, mother blankers, punch a TERF in the neck." Then you have all these posts. "Trans rights are human rights. Punch a Nazi. Blank fascism. Throat chop a TERF. Curb stomp true scum." I don't know what that's supposed to be. Is that supposed to be a Trump reference? "Make racists scared again." Well, who's a racist? Well, anybody I disagree with. Check out the advocating for violence. Every day should be punch a TERF in the throat day. I hate them, and if I ever get a chance to punch a TERF, I'm gonna. Punch a Nazi, kick a TERF. Happy Christmas to all who observe. And this goes on for pages. Fix your heart or die, bigot. It goes on and on and on. Here's an image, right? Here is an image, a cartoon image, and it reads, "Shut the blank up, TERF." And the cartoon character is holding a gun pointed at the screen, pointed at you. The UK has nothing to say about this. Here's one, "Fix your heart or die, transphobe." Transphobe. They just love the phobe stuff. They think they're good and decent people. By the way, it's TERF, TERF is how it's spelled. It's a great point being made here about what we will and don't accept. What it is that's happening. The violence that's taking place. And from whom, from where is the violence coming? From whom is the violence coming? And the violence is coming from the political left. It's coming from this trans movement. If I notice who's being violent in the UK, do I go to jail? J.K. Rowling is right, and all these people opposed to her are wrong. If I go to London, do I get arrested? Yes or no? I don't have an answer. I don't actually know. I've yet to get to London. I want to go. There's a lot of traveling I need to do. I want to do. Some people wait until they're retired to do all the traveling. I would like to travel while my knees work. I have things I want to see. It's time to start doing that. Can I go? It's a fascinating bit of conversation here. How completely and purposefully blind people are. I don't think this comic Graham Linehan did anything wrong. I don't think he did anything wrong at all. And that he was arrested is madness. That's not a healthy society. That is an endangered society. Will they ever self-correct? The answer is I don't think so. Because to self-correct from this would mean they'd have to self-correct for some other things, like allowing the country to be overrun by Islamists. But maybe it's one thing at a time. We're not all built alike, you know, to quote Kendrick Lamar, they're not like us. They're not. And I think that the United States needs to be very clear with the UK that we have free speech, whether they like it or not. And if they want to say to people in the United States that somehow you're violating our law for discussions you have in the US, that's an injustice that won't stand. You can be as crazed as you want. It doesn't affect our people in the slightest. I'm Tony Katz. Oh, by the way, if you're in the United States, why should it affect you? Yeah, this guy is Irish, but he's in the United States. Why can't he say that? Oh, all of a sudden, if you're from another country, the laws don't apply. Good to know. We'll be sure to have that conversation regarding illegal immigrants. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. I want to see if this works. Ah! Ha ha ha! DefianceBeef.com. They are sponsors of my cigar and bourbon show, Eat, Drink, Smoke. And if you ever wanted to have your own cow, butchered the way you want, aged 21 days, it's Defiance Beef. They're out of Indiana. Use promo code Eat, Drink, Smoke. You're going to save $150 off your order. They are absolutely incredible. You decide the thickness, you decide the cuts, a quarter cow, a half cow, a full cow, a heifer. I just say cow. I give it the overarching. DefianceBeef.com. It is incredible stuff. It is so good. I've had the strips. I've had the ribeyes. I have had everything that they do, and they are just spectacular. I am so thrilled that they are working with us. They're terrific. Go to DefianceBeef.com. DefianceBeef.com. Place your order. It's 21-day aged. It is so tender. It is marbled beautifully. You are going to love it. And you use code Eat, Drink, Smoke. Eat, Drink, Smoke, and you will get $150 off your order. They are fantastic. Thrilled to be working with them. DefianceBeef.com. Use code Eat, Drink, Smoke at checkout to get your discount. Make that happen. Make it happen. Oh, so good. Jacob, the whole family over there, terrific. They were at the event with Nick Searcy. They were there. If you were there, terrific, spectacular. I did order my quarter cow. I believe that comes at the end of this month. I'm cleaning out freezer space. I'm buying another freezer. I don't know. It's like, am I getting like 200 pounds of meat? Think that's enough, Producer Landon? Does it sound like plenty? Yeah, then you don't know what you're talking about, because that. Yeah, you could go more. That's right. Right. So. Coming back to the show. Barry Weiss, talk about winning. Spectacular story. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Barry Weiss was over there at the New York Times. And Barry Weiss was exhausted by their total lack of reporting standards and how they were ideological, not rational. How they were only moving a leftist points of view and purposefully silencing other points of view. How their journalism was selective based on what would help their political party. And Barry Weiss resigned. It was a very, very big resignation in the letter, and how she, recognizing what David Mamet recognized in The Secret Knowledge, that progressives believe that they are somehow ordained, given from on high, the truth, and how they have to spoon feed it to you if you are even able to understand it, and they decide what the truth is. And so Barry, being left-leaning as she is, created something called the Free Press. She's not a conservative by any stretch of the imagination, is Barry Weiss. But she's interested in journalism. She created the Free Press, found the sponsors and everything else, and went about creating this news outlet. It was announced yesterday that Paramount is offering her, or potentially offering her, up to $200 million for the Free Press. and Paramount will give her editorial control of CBS News. The New York Times must be out of their mind. The people in the CBS newsroom must be apoplectic and desperately looking for another job. They shouldn't. They should learn how to be journalists. Is Barry Weiss that good? I have absolutely no idea. Can't tell you. I'm not the guy who can make that call. Remember, Skydance and Paramount merged. It's an $8 billion deal. CBS already had to shell out money to Donald Trump for the deceptively edited interview with Kamala Harris. And what they just did to Secretary Kristi Noem, when she's talking about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, I mean, I think that's going to be another lawsuit. It's insane. But I'll take Barry Weiss being the editor over there than whoever is advising Margaret Brennan right now. Journalism matters. And good journalism tells a story. There's plenty of room for commentary, but the data, the truth of the story matters. Whether you're on the right or whether you're on the left. That Barry Weiss isn't a conservative wouldn't stop me from saying she has proven that there's someone looking for her content, and if compared to things the New York Times does, it is at least accurate. It at least presents the sides and lets the listener and the reader decide. I'm down for that. This is Tony Katz today. Guys, I don't know who said it, but yeah, the trolls are out. The trolls are absolutely through the roof today. It is nuts. I don't know what I did, but I must have done something right. Wait until they hear the news. Can't tell you yet. But I look forward to it. Oh, wait till they hear the news. They will be unhappy. And I will continue to not care about them at all. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. I am back tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tony Katz, Twitter X Tony Katz, Instagram Tony Katz, Facebook Tony Katz Radio. Just that easy. I appreciate you guys being here so very much. And I will catch you tomorrow. Take care.